Welcome and thank you for joining us for our second half hour, The Factor Uncensored. It's election season, so we're going to see all kinds of tactics to attract voters out there. The apparently includes using AI. AI-generated photos of former President Donald Trump that you're looking at right there with black people have been circulating on social media. One of them created by conservative radio host Mark Kaye. Now, there's no proof or evidence that the president's campaign created these photos. Many believe these were created to make the former president appealing to black voters, and it comes after Trump claims that black people liked him more after he was arrested for attempting to overturn the 2020 presidential election results. NBA veteran Charles Barkley isn't having any of it. He says on site, if he sees any black person wearing Trump's mugshot or MAGA hat or paraphernalia, vowing to punch them in the face. Let's talk about it. Joining us tonight, black conservatives Sean Scott and Seiko Woods, independent voter Demetrius Walker, and political strategist Dallas Jones. So Dallas, let's begin with you. Any truth to what, or legitimacy to what former President Trump is saying? Blacks are now attracted to him because he has been arrested.
Well, I wouldn't say it's legitimacy. I would say it's insulting. You know, the idea that the black community as a whole identifies with the idea of being indicted, and that's something that should attract them to him. Why? Why is that? Because the vast majority of black Americans are not criminals. They cannot relate to being indicted. They do not find glory in people being indicted. And that just goes to show the disconnect with Donald Trump and his relationship with the black communities. Now, this is the man that after a shooting said that they were fine Americans on both sides of peaceful protests. This is a man who accused the Central Five of crimes that what we later saw they did not commit. So he has a history of being completely disconnected of what it means to be a black American.
Seiko, you've been looking at me like, when you gonna let me talk, Isaiah? I need to get in here right now. And Sean. But go ahead, give us your thoughts about what Dallas just said.
Well, first of all, Dallas, I appreciate your comment, but I have to disagree with you on it because, first of all, he never said that. What he said regarding the Charlottesville, I believe it was the Charlottesville situation, he was not talking about the white supremacists. He made it clear. He said, I'm not talking about the white supremacists. I'm talking about those who came to peacefully demonstrate. He said that. He never mentioned anything and condoned any type of white supremacy. Matter of fact, he said, I condemn it.
Those were white supremacists.
He said, I condemn it totally. That's exactly what he said. And I believe a lot of times, Isaiah, a lot of the things what happens is when people take sound bites and then they put it across the mainstream media, which I call lamestream media, because they don't represent the truth of what is really going on. And so when you don't have the full context of what somebody says, then you have statements, respectfully, what Dallas has said, being taken out of context and then pushed out where people was now accused him of being a racist. Was Donald Trump a racist when he had all these rappers in his videos? Was Donald Trump a racist when he was on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? Was Donald Trump a racist when all the rappers, including Snoop Dogg, before he started tripping as well, had no problem with Donald Trump? It was only until Donald Trump decided to become a Republican is when black people wanted to give him the problem, to give him the business.
Well, since you addressed me directly, I don't think that I said that Donald Trump was a racist.
No, you did not.
No, I did not.
No,
what I did say was that Donald Trump was disconnected with the realities of what it means to be black in America. And now, here are the facts. The reality is, look, he is gaining ground with black men. Like, it has moved from 4% to about 24% that African American men are being pulled to Donald Trump.
Why is that?
These gimmicks.
Why is that?
But these gimmicks, such as putting his face on T-shirts and selling them. These gimmicks, such as creating sneakers and believing that we're going to be motivated to buy his sneakers. These are the things that he thinks that attracts black people to him.
Why do you think that?
Real quick, let's hear from Sean. Sean, go ahead.
Well, first of all, where's your proof that he is doing these things? You're basically saying that he's putting these photo ops out here just to garner the support.
Where's your proof that he's not?
So where's your proof that he is?
So are you telling me Donald Trump did not sell gold sneakers and did not promote those?
I'm telling you that he didn't put those images out there. I'm telling you that there's no proof
so are you saying that he didn't promote those images
and I'm
in his
telling you
speech to the black conservatives?
That what people are connecting with is the injustices that we face, and that's what he was
Did
speaking
he not
to.
promote these T-shirts in his latest speech to the black conservative?
He
to the
mentioned
black
the
conservative
T-shirts.
party? So he mentioned them.
Right, just like,
Okay.
but hold on,
But he didn't put the
Got it, but he mentioned them in what context?
He mentioned them in the
He
context.
mentioned them in what context? He started the speech
Can I
off.
explain the
He started the
context?
speech off by saying, you know, I can only see
Can I
black people.
explain the context?
in the
Because I'm
audience.
kind of soft-spoken
Sure.
and, you know.
Go ahead, Sean. I'm sorry.
Right. So what people are identifying with is the great injustices that we face in our judicial system. And that's what he was speaking to. Not the fact that, okay, all black people
Right.
are criminals or whatever, right?
Never said
But
that.
he's saying that, okay, they see what I'm going through. They see how I have been attacked. They see the injustices that I am facing, and this is what they are identifying with. You're looking at an individual that is dealing with these things, the President of the United States. So he's saying, hey, if they can do this to me, surely they can do it to you, and they have done it to
Right.
you for a very long time.
And then he proceeded to call the
All
President of the
right,
United
let's bring in
States a racist.
Demetrius really quick. Your assessments of this.
Are you saying that didn't happen?
And former President Donald Trump, your thoughts?
Isaiah, we have to bring facts into this equation. Donald Trump has had racial discrimination lawsuits since the 1970s filed against him, in which he's had to pay fines and actually publish ads, promoting the fact that his real estate company has racially discriminated against blacks as tenants previously. When he first came on board as president, one of the first things that he did was pass an executive order to get rid of racial sensitivity training. On the campaign trail just recently, Donald Trump has promised to terminate all diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. So he is not a fan of black people. He is not someone who is going to promote positive
Hold
things
on a
for black
second.
people.
We'll be right back.
Yeah.
You can let it build up. You can let it marinate. We'll be back with this discussion in just a moment here on The Factor. And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. We're talking about former President Donald Trump and if he is a viable candidate to the black community. And of course, Seiko, you're going to pick up responding to Demetrius Walker, who just talked before the break.
So Demetrius, so you mentioned about Trump and the racial accusations or discrimination about the hotel, correct? Well, he fired the individuals that were racially discriminating in his hotel. You can look up those are facts as well too. Also, but here's something that's interesting. You mentioned about Donald Trump being a racist. You're a Democrat, right?
No.
You're not a Democrat?
We identify
You're
him as
independent.
independent.
You're independent. Did you vote for Biden?
I did.
Okay, so you vote for a man whose mentor is a racist. You voted for a man whose 94 crime bill, he had no problem authorizing and authoring and boasted about that, then regretted that he did it. And you voted for a man, also that said, if you don't know the difference between me and Trump, you ain't black.
And you supported a man who tried to strip $200 million from HBCUs, and then later,
Are you serious?
Yes, he did.
And he put 10 years in the black community. Come on, bro.
He gave more money to the HBCUs.
Exactly.
And then tried to take credit for adding money to the HBCU
Because he
budget.
did.
Because
Okay, Sean, wrap us up. We only have 20 seconds. Wrap us up, Sean.
Well, all I can say is that his policies speak volumes above the words that he says, right? First Step Act, the Platinum Plan.
Opportunity zones.
All these things he was trying to institute to directly impact positively the black community.
One word response, Dallas.
Then why didn't he win the election?
Still ahead tonight here.
That's for
I thought you were going to say BS. Still ahead.